Got it, Chef. And then we also have another party, 20 people around 7:30 as well. So make sure that everybody is on game point, and then also make sure that you guys count your sushi boats, and everyone went to lunch and break already. Okay? Got it, Chef.
I'm just trying to make it in America.
Hi, my name is Chef Valerie, and I was born in San Nicolas Ilocos Norte. I currently live in Southern California, and I am the executive chef here at Yamashiro Hollywood. That's nice. Nice, okay. When I asked my mom where I was born at, because I didn't really know that I was born in a bakery until I was like 40, you know, because I never really asked. Because all I know that when you, in the province where we're at, when you give birth, you don't go to the hospital. You give birth at home. So I asked my mom where was I born. She goes, "You're actually born in your grandfather's bakery." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, 3 o'clock, you know, the bakery is open, your grandfather's making pandesal and all that stuff." So I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" So I was shocked. So I was literally, you can say, I was literally born to bake. I didn't meet my parents until I was 6 years old. So the parents that I knew that raised me were my grandparents. So I had 2 sets of grandparents. I would be shipped off to Lawag City, where my father's parents, and then to Batak, where my mom's parents. So to me, that they were our parents, that I didn't know I had a mom and dad. I vividly remember my mom. The last memory I had of her was when I probably was 4. I was playing hide and seek, and I saw her face, and that was it. And the only recollection I have of my dad was this guy in a uniform came to visit my mom, and that was it.
Kanino na to? Ano ka? Sanyo ka. So it's a Japanese thing too.
Hi, I'm Christopher Castillo and Valerie's father.
Hi, I'm Elo Castillo and I'm Valerie's mother.
And not in Hawaii. Yeah, I know.
Back in the Philippines, life was simple. My father owned a bakery. That's where Valerie, at an early age, she used to stay with her grandfather, watching baking some pastries. That's where probably she was so interested in baking, because we own a bakery in the Philippines.
The last time that I saw my dad, or the first time I was introduced to him, was when we were 6 and my sister was 5. And I remember was going to the airport, and we were told to go with this guy who had a uniform on and leave my grandparents. And it's kind of hard to talk about because, sorry, they were my parents, and to be ripped away from them and go on a plane, it was hard. So it was difficult because I didn't know where I was going. I'm like, "You're taking me away from my parents, and I don't know who you are." And then later I found out that they were my parents. So it was difficult because every day of my life that I remember was with my grandparents, and they raised us to everything. So it was kind of hard to. It was at 6, you don't understand what was going on. Why are they here, or why am I leaving? And it was difficult to transition from your life with your grandparents and moving to another country that only spoke English, and I didn't know how to speak English, and I didn't know how to communicate. So it was difficult.
It was so hard leaving the Philippines, not only leaving the families, but also leaving our life that we were able to build in the Philippines. Then in the States, we're gonna start all over again. It was so hard that a new environment, the people around us, and everything. But we knew that we'll be able to make it.
Coming to the States is it's a good thing, you know, because in the Philippines, we cannot advance or anything like that because there's no job or anything.
My father was in the Air Force. You know, we had good medical. We were able to, he was able to provide for us, but on a salary as a, enlisted Air Force, it was still not enough. You know, we were lucky that the base, we had base housing, but we still had to support, his brother, his parents, and my mom's parents, and, my mom's brother. So I remember we would not have, a nanny or a katulong back home, because back home you had your sister, you had an auntie that took care of you, but my mom would go to work and my sister and I would walk to school, when it was safe to walk to school, and we would come home with a little key around us, and we'd go home, and we would still be there by ourselves. So it's not coming to America or coming from the Philippines to America, it's not like, okay, now we're great now. No, it's not that. You still have to work. You still have to put in your 12 hours. So it was as a child, watching my parents and not for them working that hard, it's like, why do they have to work that hard? When my grandparents would stay home with us, I'd see them every day, but my parents, I didn't see every day. And I didn't understand that until I was a teenager, and I realized that, oh, you have to work, you have to have a job. Your $10 an hour doesn't really last that long. I don't like to talk about my grandparents because every time I talk about them, I cry, because it's difficult, because they were my life, and then just to bring them up, that's why I didn't want to be a chef for a long time. I didn't want to bake for a long time, because every time I did that, it just reminds me of them, and I don't know, it's just that memory that I want to keep to myself, and it's hard to talk about them. So it's going to be a very busy weekend this weekend. Roz with Roz Marketing is coming by, and she will be bringing Apple and J. Ray Soul along with Princess May and Guap Dad. So I'm hoping that we have enough staff, because it's going to be crazy, and I hope we have enough people to make this complete. What I remember when I was in the Philippines, the reason why I want to bring this up is, they have the balikbayan box. So when I was a little girl, we would get this box every month, and you have the M&Ms and candy, and I remember my grandmother would hide them from me. I'm like, why would you do that? But to have that, it's like a luxury for us. So when I moved to the US, my parents would still do that because my grandparents were still there. And even though my dad was in the Air Force, my mom had another job, and even though that they were there, they were still not home to provide for us or take care of us, because they would be working. And I thought, when you go to America, oh, you're in America now, you have dollars, you make dollars, so you can afford this, you have a car, you don't have to take a bus, you don't have to struggle. But that's not true, because one of the big part is to come to America, but then making it in America is the biggest challenge for most Filipinos, because you can come here and that doesn't mean you're gonna be guaranteed a job. Doesn't mean that you're a nurse, you're gonna go in the hospital. You still have to make it. You still have to work hard, and even twice as hard, because what you make, you still have to provide for the family that you have at home. And we're fortunate enough that it was my parents that came here.
Here in the United States, there's a lot of opportunity. We want them to dream big and work hard, so that they will be able, so that they're gonna have a beautiful life in the future.
My career, it's crazy, because I've always loved to cook. When I first came to America, I would watch Julia Childs. It would always be on TV. I was always help my mom cook, and I would always, I always wanted to know about ingredients, and my dad loved to cook. Everybody loved to cook. So with my career or how I started, whenever I love throwing parties, I love, I would be that mom with the kids as, it's your birthday, can I bring this to school? Can I do that? Or can I throw you a party? Like, Mom, no, don't, And I would buy chef coats and I would make my kids call me chef, like, oh, maybe one day I'll be this. But as a mom, as a stay-at-home mom, you don't think you're gonna have a career. I never thought I would be here today because I just turned 51, and you think that to have a career you should at least start while you're 30 and plan it. What I did was, when the school functions would happen, I would volunteer myself, I'd say, I'm a chef, but I wasn't really a chef. I can do that for you. So, I started doing that a lot, and I started catering. I figured, okay, maybe I'll cater here and there. And my husband's like, don't do that. Just stay at home, take care of the kids. And I don't know, something in me just kept saying, no, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing this, follow your passion, do something, And I did, and all I did was just cater here and there, did some weddings here and there, and I realized that that's what I wanted to do. In order to be successful as a chef or have a career in this industry, you have to go to school. You have to have some kind of certification. So that's when I enrolled myself in school. While my kids went to school during the day, I took night classes, and it was, I did pastry first, and then I did the culinary school next. And we were able to, the school allowed us to do a lot of functions, and I figured, okay, this is fun, I want to do this. So my friend said, she came to me and goes, hey, Yamashiro needs a pastry chef. I'm like, we'll see, I was afraid. I'm like, Yamashiro, because it's an iconic landmark. My husband and I came here on our first date 20 years ago. I'm like, why would they want me? I mean, like, I do pastries, I know I'm good, but for that, so I came here for a tasting. The owner was here, and like 10 people were here. I'm like, what the hell is this? They're all looking at you, and then you're second guessing yourself. You're like, is this okay? So what I did was, like with everything that I do it from the heart. And I figured, okay, you know what? It's okay if they don't like it, you'll be fine. And next thing I know, it was just that instant, you're hired. If you have no pineapples today, you should bring at least 5 pineapples here just to do a sorbet. I think we're gonna start serving it with a sorbet. Okay. When I first got here, I was the last manager hired. You had, I think it was 5 other managers before me. So the transition coming in as an executive pastry chef, it was kind of difficult because I was brought in to change the whole program. And it was more like, okay, what am I doing? I had to get my own staff. And what I love about Yamashiro is that they allowed me to do whatever I need to make sure that their program works. They gave me all the tools, they were there for me, and they supported me 110%, and it's hard to get that when you go to a restaurant, especially if you're new and you're building your name. Can you give this to, Ocean, can you give this to Chef Guillermo? I did have a lot of challenges. I was the only female chef here. Everybody else, they were male chefs. So it was trying to have to prove myself, that, hey, I fit in this club. There were some instances where I didn't think I was gonna make it, or will I last, like they're looking at you, you're this Asian woman coming in, what do you know? Like, can you cook? Can you do this? Are you sure? So, you start doubting yourself, like, do I have what it takes here? And, by the 6 months I was in, and they found out that I knew how to cook, and they, I was making dishes here and there. I was promoted to executive sous chef, which wasn't really, a lot of the chefs didn't like that idea, because they're like, why is she becoming a chef? Well, what does she have to know? She's only a pastry chef, So, but they didn't know the background that I did go to culinary school. Then can you get 2 Serrano, 1 Serrano, Yellow Serrano, 1 crispy albacore, and 1 tuna tataki, okay? For the same table. And then I think it was 2 weeks into my my promotion, pandemic hit, Yeah. So it was, after that, everything was closed. And when we all got the call in, they're like, everybody come in, all the managers were coming in. And they're like, let's have a meeting. So I'm like, okay, telling myself, okay, 6 months, great ride, your career's over. You're here. You had I guess the way I looked at it was, you know what? At least you tried it. At least you did it. At least, 6 months was great. So here we were, sitting there, getting the lecture, this is a pandemic, this is what happened. We all got our last checks, and here I am waiting. Is it my turn? Is it my turn? Next thing I know, everyone's gone except me. And I'm like, maybe I don't get a check, maybe. So I was asked to stay and help, to stay and run the program, to stay and kind of make Yamashiro's to-go program go. To me, I was like thinking, is this real? I was the last person. I don't have the experience here. What do they want with me? I'm like, what am I gonna do? And it's just not just pastries anymore. It's the whole entire freaking restaurant of Yamashiro, and trying to transition from an amazing dine-in experience to a to-go restaurant. So it was, my husband goes, don't do it. He's like, you can't do that. Don't do that. What are you gonna do? And so basically it was my time to prove to myself, no one else, that I have what it takes. All those times that I pretended to be a chef, all those parties that I did, and all those, dinners that I made, that, if I don't take this chance, if I don't take this opportunity, I will never ever have this opportunity open up for me and, give it my all. So I was scared, and I'm still scared, but I figured, if I don't try, I'll always, as I get older, I'll say, I had that chance at Yamashiro. I should have taken that chance, and I didn't want to do that, and I don't want to do that. That's why I figured, you know what, okay, I got this. Even though I didn't know what I was doing, I said, okay, I'll take it. I'll do this, yeah. I still think it's a dream, and to be the first female executive chef here, they've never had a female. And to be a Filipina, an Asian Filipina, to run this restaurant, sometimes I feel like maybe this is not real. I'm still looking behind me saying, okay, maybe they're gonna take this from me, maybe this is just, a test, but it's, a year and a half here now. And it still feels like the first day.
All the things that she did, trying hard to reach her accomplishment and everything, I was happy. Yeah, because at the end, right now, he's executive chef in Yamashiro, and that makes me happy.
When she told us that he was the executive chef, I was so happy. Then I was crying. Then while I was crying, she called me. Then the more I cried, because why are you crying? She told me. But I said, you know what? I'm crying because of joy, because of your accomplishment. Because every parent, if their child is making good and and so much accomplishment, you should be proud of their accomplishment.
Making it America means that my children make their dreams come true.
Making it in America, what it means to me is not, it's not the money that you make. It's not, being famous, or it's not, being well known. Making it in America to me means that you get a hold of your life. You could get to control your life. You do what makes you happy. You fulfill your own dreams, not anyone's dreams. And it's not meaning that you have all the money in the bank or whatever, because that doesn't make you happy. So to me, making it in America means that you are here. You're making the life that you want and fulfilling the dreams that you want to fulfill.
I'm just trying to make it in America.